Sweet pet, Dai Jie got married, and she went from being an orphan overnight to becoming the youngest grandmother of the top wealthy family in T-City. On his wedding night, he was tall, cold, and thin. Even if you try to get married into the Mu family, it's nothing in my eyes. She remained calm and ruthless. Mu Shao, don't take yourself too seriously. I don't value your people and your money. After marriage, Mu Dashao spent money like dirt during the day and worked hard at night. What do you think you don't like about me, Luo Chenxi couldn't bear the harassment and angrily threw out the divorce agreement. These days can't live anymore, divorce. The next second, the little princess ran over with a hellokitty suitcase, excitedly hugging her thighs. Mama, we can't live anymore, divorce. Are you going to play the game of running away from home again? Keywords of the novel. Sweetheart, get married and get one free. CEO, please sign for it. No pop-ups, sweetheart, get married and get one free. CEO, please sign for it. Download the complete TXT collection, sweetheart, get married and get one free. CEO, please sign for it. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Dai Jie getting married. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Today is Luo Chenxi's wedding night. And the groom, Mu Chen, the eldest young master of the Mu family, who is the richest man in T-City, should have been her brother. Law. With a click, her father, Luo Nguo, pushed the door in. How's it going? Are you all ready? Luo Nguo nervously closed the door and walked over. Luo Chenxi let out a Speak up. What? Have you memorized all your sister's information? I have memorized it well. Luo Nguo breathed a sigh of relief and said, That's good, that's good. You're really a good daughter of Dad. Starting today, you're going to stay at the Mu family as your sister and never show any flaws, you know. Our Luo family relies entirely on you. Luo Chenxi couldn't help but roll her eyes in the sky. It's really fortunate that Luo Goen could pretend to have such a kind father's face. His face is really thick. As a miss of the Luo family, she was thrown into an orphanage since childhood. It wasn't until half a month ago that Luo Goen recognized her back. She thought that Luo Goen had discovered her conscience, but just a few days later, she was forced to marry her half-sister Luo Chenxi, who had passed away in a car accident. Strange to say, she and Luo Chenxi are only half-sisters, but according to the photos given to her by Luo Nguo, they look exactly the same. The Mu family is a top-notch wealthy family in China. How much effort did your sister put into getting Mu Dashao to marry her into the family? Now you have taken advantage and become the young lady of the Mu family. She took advantage of it. Upon hearing this, Luo Chenxi couldn't help but sneer and said, Mr. Luo, let's not say such hypocritical words. Since Luo Chenxi got engaged to Mu Dashao, how much benefit have you gained from the Mu family? Now that I can't bear to give up, I'm forced to pretend to be her and marry her. Why do you say it so well? Luoan Kingdom couldn't fit anymore, and his face also darkened. Okay, since you understand so well, then I have something to say. You'd better stay at the Mu family well, pay attention to your words and actions, and never let anyone doubt your identity. Whenever there is any problem, I won't pay for the medical expenses of that woman, Lu Wenjun. Do you understand? Upon hearing these shameless remarks, she gritted her teeth and didn't punch Luo Nguo on the spot. Shameless, so shameless. Although her foster mother, Lu Wenjun, has been suffering from congenital heart disease, she has not had any attacks for several years. Luoan Kingdom forced her to marry Luo Chenxi to the Mu family, but Lu Wenjun found out that he was eager to protect his daughter, and the two had a dispute. Lu Wenjun was so angry that he had a heart attack that he was sent to the intensive care unit and even sent a critical illness notice. And Luo Nguo not only did not feel at all wrong, but also threatened Luo Chenxi's marriage with Lu Wenjun's medical expenses. Her adoptive mother, who has always loved her, is still in the intensive care unit, in dire straits, and the huge rescue costs are not something she can afford. Luo Chenxi had no choice but to agree to the conditions of Luoan Kingdom. The next day, she was packed and delivered to the Mu family. Luo Chenxi said coldly, "Don't worry, Mr. Luo. I won't let you down." Luo Angua snorted coldly and said, "That's good. I'm sorry you dare not cause trouble for me. Alright, it's all ready this time. Mu Dashao will come up soon. Seeing how nervous you are, come and have a glass of red wine, calm down." As he spoke, he handed 2 glasses of red wine he had brought up from downstairs to Luo Chenxi, one of which he held in his hand. "Dad wishes you a happy wedding." Luo Chenxi just wanted to quickly send Luo Angua away. Moreover, she had been preparing for her wedding all day and had not dripped any water. She was indeed thirsty, so she took the glass and drank it all in one gulp. However, she did not notice that just as she looked up to drink, a strange look flashed in the eyes of Luo Angua. There are still many people who say that the male lead has a daughter before marriage and wants to abandon the text. Let me emphasize once again. The daughter is born to the female lead, and the male lead has not had any involvement with other women. Xuanjie, Xuanjie. In my eyes, you are nothing in Chapter 2. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After Luo Angua left, Luo Chenxi immediately jumped up and took out 2 printed agreements from her small bag. Although she agreed well in front of the country of Luan, she had no intention of following what the country of Luan said. She had already inquired about it. Mu Dashao and her sister Luo Chenxi had a daughter before marriage, but their relationship was not good. During the 3 years of engagement, Luo Chenxi attempted to coerce her into marriage several times but failed, becoming a laughingstock in the wealthy community. The reason why the wedding was finally held this time was because Mu Yichen's grandmother was seriously ill and wanted to see her favorite grandson get married before she died. Mu Yichen reluctantly agreed. I think Mu Yichen is also quite unwilling to see a woman she dislikes appearing at home. Coincidentally, she doesn't want to be someone else's double and spend the rest of her life with a man who doesn't have feelings. Their goals coincide, should it be easy to reach a consensus. Luo Chenxi thought to herself, but for some reason, she suddenly felt that she was getting hotter and even having difficulty breathing. What's going on? Is the air conditioning too hot? The uncomfortable feeling made her unable to resist pulling the collar of her nightgown open a bit, wanting to cool down. But it's useless. Hot. It's so hot. A burning sensation rose from her body, her cheeks flushed, and sweat dripped down her hair. Luo Chenxi's mind was dizzy and her intuition was not right. She struggled to stand up, wanting to go to the window for some air. But as soon as I got up, I heard footsteps coming from the corridor with a loud bang. The door was forcefully pushed open. Mu Yichen stood at the bedroom door, looking at her with a cold expression on his face. The gloomy expression did not detract from his beauty, causing Luo Chenxi's facial control to momentarily lose focus for a second. It is said that the Grand Marshal of the Mu family has cracked the sky, making him a peerless beauty in the world, and has always been known as the title of national husband. It really lives up to its reputation. Sensing the man's unhappy lips pursing, she quickly snapped back to her senses and said, "Mr. Mu, you've come just in time. I have something to discuss with you." However, as soon as she started, she was mercilessly interrupted by Mu Yichen. "Luo Chenxi, I'm not interested in hearing you talk nonsense here. I came here today to warn you not to think that you've tricked into marrying into the Mu family. You're the young grandmother of the Mu family. In my eyes, you're nothing. I know all the things you've done secretly. I didn't mean that." Luo Chenxi opened her mouth and was about to speak, but was interrupted again. "You'd better stay calm and take care of yourself. Don't leave the Mu family outside. Also, stay away from me and don't appear in my sight. Otherwise, I have a way to make you regret it." Mu Yichen didn't care about Luo Chenxi's reaction at all. He taught her a lesson on his own, then turned around and left. Luo Chenxi tried to speak twice, but was cut off and her face turned green. Nima, what kind of stinky man is this? Being arrogant. I don't know how to respect others at all. Don't even let her finish a sentence. As Mui Chen was about to step out of the room, Luo Chenxi had an impulse and blurted out, Mui Chen, please stop me. She not only spoke out, but also stood up in an attempt to catch up. However, just as she stood up, a strange burning sensation suddenly rose from her lower abdomen. Luo Chenxi's legs softened and she suddenly fell to the ground. Make a loud splash. 3. Chapter 3. Unique Techniques for Attracting Men. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn it. It hurts. Luo Chenxi was so painful that she almost burst into tears. The heavy fall perfectly illustrates the true meaning of the idiom, 5 bodies thrown to the ground, in high school textbooks. Commonly known as the posture of facing the sky and falling geese in the sand. What's even more tragic is that Mimi landed first. She feels like her breasts are about to be smashed into 4. And this earth-shattering stop also succeeded in stopping Mui Chen's footsteps. He turned around and looked at the woman lying on the ground in a strange posture, her face even darker than before, and she could almost drip ink. Your trick of seducing men today is quite ingenious, but unfortunately, it's useless to me. Upon hearing Mui Chen's disdainful mockery, Luo Chenxi immediately forgot the pain and looked up at the condescending man with anger. Are you too narcissistic? Which eye of yours saw me seducing you? Both eyes can see. Mui Chen said meaningfully. Luo Chenxi lowered her head along his gaze and instantly changed her expression. Just now, because it was too hot, in order to cool down a bit, she unbuttoned several buttons on her pajamas. Now, she fell in this position and suddenly revealed a large area of snow-white skin on her chest. Even deep grooves were clearly visible. Luo Chenxi quickly grabbed her collar and pulled her clothes up, trying to block the exposed spring light. But she never expected that when she fell, the hem of her pajamas would also flip up, revealing her slender and straight legs. As she tugged at her clothes, the pajamas gradually lifted upwards, almost unable to cover her little fart. Mui Chen's breath suddenly stopped, and an unnamed flame rose from his lower abdomen. Although this woman has a deep mind and a cruel heart, she does have the capital to charm people's hearts. Damn woman. Stop pulling, get up now. Watching Luo Chenxi frantically trying to get up from the ground, Mui Chen felt that she was deliberately challenging her willpower. Simply take a quick step forward and rudely pull her up. Ouch. Luo Chenxi was grabbed by the man's wrist and lifted up, intending to take advantage of the situation to stand firm. However, to her surprise, her legs became weak and weak again, and instead she threw herself into Mui Chen's arms. Mui Chen was caught off guard and fell to the ground directly by her. Luo. Morning. Heart. Upon hearing the sound of Mui Chen gritting her teeth in her ear, Luo Chenxi was almost ready to cry without tears. Heaven and earth have a conscience. She has absolutely no intention of seducing Mui Chen. She wished she could stay away from Mui Chen. This kind of domineering man has an extremely despicable personality, and only that face can be seen. She doesn't want it for free. But unfortunately, her legs have been weak twice in a row. Just now, when the spring light leaked out, it could still be considered an accident, but now she has directly knocked her down. I guess no one believes what she said, right? Luo Chenxi's gaze fell on Mui Chen's lips, her perfectly shaped thin lips lightly pursed, with a noticeable blood mark on her lower lip. No, she couldn't have knocked it out, could she? What are you still looking at? Get up from me. Mui Chen has already left with anger. He was actually knocked down and forced to kiss by the woman he hates the most. It's a great shame. Luo Chenxi sweated and said, just get up and get up. What are you doing so aggressively? Do you think I like to be so close to you? As she spoke, she propped herself up on the ground, wanting to get up. For some reason, her body went sour and soft one after another. Just now, her legs were weak, and now she can't even use her strength. The body just lifted up a little, and the arms couldn't support it anymore. The whole person fell onto the man directly below once again. Chapter 4. Is so tough, so arrogant. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Looking at the second tooth mark on Mu Yichen's lips, Luo Chenxi had no courage to look at his face again. She hurriedly explained, "Yes. I'm sorry. I'll get up right away, right away." However, for some unknown reason, her body became increasingly weak. The area closely adjacent to Mu Yichen was even hotter, as if it was about to burn. Mu Yichen's increasingly heavy breathing was within reach, emitting strong male hormones that gradually made Luo Chenxi's brain dizzy and heavy. Even through her clothes, she could imagine how perfect the muscle lines of Mu Yichen under her palm were. Luo Chenxi shook her head hard, trying to shake off these distractions. Although she is a senior beauty control, she wasn't so dirty before, was she? She has a pure admiration for beautiful men. What kind of wind did she have today and actually want to swallow the man in front of her in one gulp? Luo Chenxi tried twice again, but both ended in failure. She had no strength on her body, and every time she got up a little, she would fall down again. Her slender legs kept rubbing against Mu Yichen, causing him to burst into flames. Mu Yichen gritted his teeth and said, "Can't you get up at all? Luo Chenxi, I warn you, if you don't get up again, it's all over." Luo Chenxi was both angry and anxious, almost vomiting 3 liters of blood. You don't have long hands and feet yourself. I'm weak and can't get up. You can get up on your own." Mu Yichen's forehead was bulging with veins. If he could get up, he would have gotten up long ago. It's not that this woman has a deep mind, pretending to be a wrestler and actually seducing him, riding on him desperately and rubbing against him. You even forced a kiss on him. Twice. His self-control, which he had always been proud of, has been completely destroyed. The body stiffened to the point of pain, and all the strength seemed to surge towards the lower body. He tried his best to control himself, but didn't immediately bring this little fairy to justice. How could he get up? You're playing hooliganism. Luo Chenxi fell several times and collided with a hard object. After several consecutive collisions, she suddenly realized. That's Mu Yichen's. He actually reacted to her. And, so tough, so arrogant. Just like himself. Luo Chenxi's face turned pale with fear, and she tried harder to get up, but her body became hotter and hotter, making it increasingly difficult for her to think. Damn woman, you brought this on yourself. Mu Yichen grabbed Luo Chenxi's slender waist and suddenly turned over, pressing her down on the carpet. The next day. Pain. This is the only feeling when Luo Chenxi woke up. Not only did I have a headache that felt like it was about to crack, but my whole body was also sore, as if I had just run a marathon yesterday. Before she could figure out where she was, suddenly a strong force came from behind her. She was forced to turn over, hold down her shoulders, and press heavily on the bed. A male body full of oppression hangs above her. Luo Chenxi. You are so brave. Luo Chenxi's face was filled with astonishment. The beauty of this prosperous era in front of me, even in anger, remains so pleasing to the eye. Exquisite and perfect facial features are like masterpieces of the Creator, with deep phoenix eyes that exude power and anger. If her gaze could kill, Luo Chenxi had already been torn to pieces. She was stunned for a second, and soon the memories of last night returned to her mind. Last night, she married Mr. Mu. She had already prepared the agreement and wanted to talk to Mu Yichen, but as she talked, she ended up talking about the bed. Oh, no, it's on the ground. Luo Chenxi chuckled twice and said, Zhuang. Brave man, be merciful. Listen. Listen to my explanation. Mu Yichen coldly curled his lips and said, explain. Okay, I'll give you a chance. Luo Chenxi racked her brain to recall the scene from last night. Although her memory was a bit blurry, she could still remember clearly that Mu Yichen never wanted to bird her. It was she who had knocked this man down twice. Then she kissed and rubbed against the other person for a long time, unable to get up or down. Damn it, how could this be? I can't even find a reason to take a bite back. Chapter 5. The woman who brings her door to the door, no sleep, no sleep. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Do you still want to take a bite back? Upon hearing the man's chilly tone, Luo Chenxi's cold hair stood on her back, only to realize in shock that she had just spoken out what she was thinking. Seeing that she couldn't deny it, she could only give a ha-ha. Cough cough, I said. Mu Dashao, although there was a little accident yesterday, you also took the initiative to take me to bed later. You are a man and don't suffer losses, why bother so much? Right. Besides, yesterday was our wedding night, and it was normal for us to sleep together. Why does this sound so scumbag? Under Mu Yichen's increasingly cold and stern gaze, Luo Chenxi spoke more and more softly. Finally, he closed his mouth. Mu Yichen gave her a cold glance and said, what's going on? I can't go on anymore. Do you think I'm so foolish that I can't find out you've drugged me? Medication. What medicine should I take? Luo Chenxi was stunned for a moment, and suddenly thought of the abnormal reaction on herself yesterday. As soon as she saw Mu Yichen, her legs went limp and became hotter and hotter. Was it also because someone had drugged her? But she didn't eat anything last night. Not right. A sudden inspiration flashed in her mind, recalling the glass of red wine handed to her by Luan Guo. Is there medicine in the red wine? Luo Chenxi suddenly woke up, widened her eyes, and exclaimed in surprise. However, Mu Yichen completely misunderstood. He sneered, you also admit that you drugged red wine. What? When did she admit it? Could it be that Luoan not only drugged her, but also tampered with Mu Yichen's wine glass? Mu Yichen said in a cold voice, what's wrong? We've been engaged for so many years and I've never touched you before, so you can't wait anymore. Why don't you just give me medicine? Are you so thirsty? What if I sleep with you? The woman who brought you to the door, she's not sleeping for nothing. Luo Chenxi was taken aback and widened her eyes in disbelief. Mu Yichen and her sister. Haven't they ever slept before? But the information given to her by Luan Guo clearly states that they already have a 3-year-old daughter. Now, get out of here right away. Just as she was stunned, Mu Yichen had lost patience and grabbed her shoulder, ready to throw her out of bed. Subconsciously, Luo Chenxi reached out and grabbed him, wanting to explain, wait, you listen first. I say. Hands upload an unusual touch. Both of them lowered their gaze and saw Luo Chenxi holding onto a pair of pajamas. Just now, she casually grabbed Mu Yichen's pants and even pulled them down, revealing her black four-cornered pants. Under the thin fabric, a small tent was also erected. Luo Chenxi stared blankly at this scene, without any reaction for a long time. Have you seen enough? Mu Yichen was grinding his teeth. Luo Chenxi quickly loosened her pants in her hand, wanting to make up for it, but to her surprise, just then, a light footsteps suddenly came from the hallway. With a loud bang, the door was knocked open from outside. Baba 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 baba, the sun is already shining on your farts, why haven't you woken up yet? Grandma said, a good child can't stay up in bed, shy face. A soft little figure, wearing a pink princess dress, rushed in from the door and rushed straight to the bedside. A soft and glutinous little girl with a pink bun face and obvious baby fat, delicate and perfect facial features, and big and round eyes, like a kitten, looked at them strangely. Dot. Dot. Both Luo Chenxi and Mu Yichen instantly petrified. Chapter 6. Your baba is really long. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Last night, Mu Yichen just wanted to warn Luo Chenxi and left, without intending to do anything inappropriate for children. So, the door was not locked at all. He never dreamed that one day, his daughter would break through the door and catch him in bed with a woman. The air suddenly quieted down. The scene was once extremely awkward. Baba. What are you doing? Little Tuanzi, however, was completely unaware of his father's stiffness and stared at the two without blinking, his big watery eyes full of innocence. Mu Yichen finally recovered a little from the shock and quickly spoke up, Tang Tang, you go out first. Dad. It's a bit inconvenient now. You go downstairs to play with your aunt for a while, and Dad will come down to accompany you soon. Tang Tang flattened his mouth and asked Chu Baba, no way. They want Baba to accompany them. Baba is a bad person. She promised Tang Tang yesterday. The cute bun's face collapsed, and the appearance of Tang Tang was so pitiful, so pitiful. Mu Yichen has always been unable to refuse his own little princess, but the current situation is really too special. He could only continue to coax her, sugar is good, you just need to wait for a while, Dad. Before he could finish speaking, Tang Tang's eyes widened and his mouth opened in an O shape. Baba, you. What's wrong? Sugar. Mu Yichen asked in a low voice. Zaichuanzi extended a chubby finger and pointed towards the key position of Mu Yichen, shouting loudly in a clear voice, Baba, you're not very hygienic. You actually pulled Baba inside your pants. It's so dirty. What? Mu Yichen looked in the direction of her fingers and his face instantly turned black. The small tent set up under the black four-cornered pants was actually seen by his daughter. And also, it was treated like a lump. Sure. Mu Yichen quickly reached out to cover Tang Tang's eyes, and at the same time, his other hand pulled the blanket, trying to cover his lower body. However, Zaichuanzi refused to cooperate at all. His two little hands were pinching Mu Yichen's fingers, trying to pry his hand away from his eyes. He was still shouting, Baba has pulled Baba into his pants, Tang Tang has already seen it. You still want to hide Baba in the blanket, shy face. I want to tell my grandmother. Mu Yichen almost spurted out a mouthful of old blood. Seeing the little boy turning around and about to run out to complain, he was frantically trying to catch the person back. Sugar, wait. You come back. If this little thing were to go out and promote himself, he would really become the laughing stock of the whole family. Pushi. Luo Chenxi couldn't help but burst out laughing and said, ha ha ha, this is really the funniest thing I've ever seen this year. Your cake is really long, how many days have you been constipated? Mu Yichen just remembered that there was a woman lying next to him. Still the woman he hates the most. Just now, this woman caught a glimpse of her extremely awkward appearance. Mu Yichen whispered, don't laugh. Luo Chenxi hurriedly covered her mouth, but her shoulders kept twitching. Luo Chenxi, I said, don't laugh. Mu Yichen gritted his teeth. Luo Chenxi couldn't hold her breath and said, I can't hold it. Mu Yichen's daughter is so beautiful and adorable. She is like her father in the sky, like the earth. It's hard to imagine an iceberg like Mu Yichen giving birth to such a cute daughter. Mu Yichen was furious and wanted to give this ignorant woman a good lesson. At this moment, a soft and sticky voice suddenly sounded beside the two of them, Baba, who is this beautiful big sister? Little Tuanzi ran back to the bedside at some point, tilting his head and looking at Luo Chenxi who had just laughed loudly. Chapter 7. I am you Mama. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Upon hearing Tang Tang's milky question, Luo Chenxi was slightly stunned. I feel something is wrong. Beautiful sister. Is this talking about her? But isn't Tang Tang, the daughter of Mui Chen, born to her sister Luo Chen? Shouldn't we call her mom when we see her? But listening to Xia Chuanzi's tone, how does it feel like facing a stranger? Seeing Luo Chenxi not speaking, Xia Chuanzi spontaneously climbed onto the bed, hugged her arm and rubbed it. Big sister, how fragrant you are. Luo Chenxi was puzzled in her heart, but facing such a lovely little angel, her heart was melted and she couldn't think much. She smiled and said gently, "Sugar, don't you remember me? I'm your numbness." Ma. Ma ma. Little Tuanzi was stunned, and a dull expression suddenly appeared on his face. Luo Chenxi felt a bit strange, but thinking that she wasn't wrong, she continued to smile and said, "That's right, I'm you mama. Come over, let mama hug me." It's strange to say. Since accidentally losing that child 4 years ago, she has been particularly afraid of interacting with them. However, seeing Tang Tang's pink little face made her whole heart melt with it. All I wanted was to hug and kiss her. Luo Chenxi stretched out her arm, wanting to hold the little ball in her arms. But to her surprise, her fingers had just touched Xia Chuanzi's body, and the candy that was still rubbing against her arms suddenly turned pale and shook her away. Sugar. Before Luo Chenxi could react, she heard earth-shattering cries in her ears. Wow! 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 Sugar, you! What's wrong with you? Luo Chenxi looked bewildered and didn't know what to do as she looked at the little girl who suddenly burst into tears. She never expected that the cute little girl with a cute face just now would burst into tears in the blink of an eye, and even cry so miserably. Wow! Don't touch me, I'm not numb. Go away. I hate you. Sugar, don't cry. Luo Chenxi suddenly panicked and frantically wanted to hug Tang Tang to coax her. But just then, a cold and stern reprimand came from outside the door. "Luo Chenxi, it's you again. Hurry up and let go of the candy." Luo Chenxi was startled and turned to see Mui Chen's mother Tan Yueru and sister Mu Weiwei walking in together. Upon seeing Tan Yueru, Tang Tang immediately jumped out of bed and plunged into her grandmother's arms. Her small body continued to tremble, as if there were evil spirits chasing behind her. Tan Yueru lightly patted Tang Tang's back and comforted her. "Tang Tang is good, don't cry, don't cry. We don't pay attention to that bad woman. Can Grandma take you to eat chocolate?" Tang Tang buried his head in her arms and nodded lightly. Tan Yueru gave Luo Chenxi a fierce glare and walked away holding Sugar. "Bad woman. Are you talking about her?" Luo Chenxi blinked her big eyes in confusion, unable to understand the current situation. Why did Xia Chuanzi suddenly cry? Even if she doesn't have much experience taking care of children, she knows that ordinary children can't change their faces so quickly, right? Moreover, looking at the trembling appearance of Tang Tang in Tan Yueru's arms, she was really scared. But what is Tang Tang afraid of? She thinks her attitude was very friendly just now. At this moment, Mu Weiwei walked over and asked without hesitation, "Luo Chenxi, you are really a terrible woman. What have you done to Sugar again? She is your own daughter. You didn't harm her once, you still need to use her a few times before it's enough. You are the most vicious woman I have ever seen." 8. What outrageous things have you done in Chapter 8? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Chenxi couldn't help but frown and said, I didn't do anything. It sounds like her sister has done something outrageous about Sugar before. Luo Chenxi was full of doubts, but couldn't ask. Mu Weiwei didn't believe what she said at all. Pretend. You keep pretending. If you hadn't done anything to Tang Tang, what would she cry so sadly? I knew earlier, there's nothing you can't do. What are you using your brain again this time? But she really didn't do anything. By the way, Mui Chen was by her side just now and saw her interaction with Xia Baozi throughout. He can definitely prove it for her. Thinking of this, Luo Chenxi quickly turned her head and looked at Mui Chen, kicking him under the blanket. Mui Chen, talk to me. It was Tang Tang who ran over by himself just now, and you clearly saw it. Tell your sister clearly. Mu Weiwei angrily said, do you think if you sleep with my brother, he will listen to you? My brother knows better than anyone what kind of woman you are. Enough. Vivi, it was indeed Tang Tang who came by himself. Mu Chen suddenly spoke out. Big brother, why are you spoke for Luo Chenxi? Mu Weiwei widened her eyes in disbelief, never expecting that Mu Chen would speak up to defend Luo Chenxi. Last time, how did this woman abuse Sugar? Big brother forgot about it. Mu Chen was very uncomfortable under his sister's gaze and coughed lightly. Alright, you go out first, he said. Mu Weiwei has always listened to her elder brother's words and can only reluctantly leave. Before leaving, like Tan Yueru, she gave Luo Chenxi a pair of blank eyes with a bewildered expression. The room quieted down again. Luo Chenxi breathed a sigh of relief to herself. The incident just now was really sudden. She still hasn't figured out why Tang Tang suddenly started crying. Is it really because she's afraid of her biological mother? By the way, she remembered something and turned to look at the man on the other side of the big bed. Thank you for clarifying for me just now. I shouldn't have laughed at you earlier. Luo Chenxi. She was interrupted before she could finish speaking. Mu Chen had already sat up and looked at her from a high position, his gaze icy and cold. It's not like looking at the couple who just slept with him all night, but rather like looking at something disgusting. I told you not to approach Sugar again. Today was an accident, but in the future, you must not approach Sugar any further. Also, do not approach me, the mistake made last night cannot happen again. Remember, if you want to continue to have the reputation of Grandma Mu, just hold your tail tightly and be a good person. Without looking at Luo Chenxi's reaction, he got out of bed and walked into the bathroom without looking back. Listening to the sound of water coming from the bathroom, Luo Chenxi's face turned pale and blue. This man is simply unreasonable. Is it remarkable to be good? Looking. Is money great? Can you be so narcissistic? Okay, it seems like something really remarkable, but he can't insult people either. In short, she used to think that Mu Chen was a person to communicate with and wanted to negotiate with him, but now it seems that she's just overthinking it. However, Mu Chen also hopes that the two of them can return to the bridge and not interfere with each other, which is exactly what she wants. Dreams flew out of the skylight one by one, and time again, I wanted to travel through old times. Luo Chenxi's phone on the bedside table rang. She quickly picked it up. Miss Luo, this is Iha International Hospital. Your mother, Ms. Lu Wenjun, has worsened and is currently undergoing emergency treatment in the operating room. Please come as soon as possible. Chapter 9. Find someone to settle accounts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Iha International Hospital. As soon as Luo Chenxi received the call, she rushed over from the Mu family and waited at the entrance of the operating room for several hours. For her, those few hours were as long as several years. Finally, Lu Wenjun escaped danger. Luo Chenxi lay in front of the hospital bed, watching Lu Wenjun's pale face under the oxygen mask, quietly turning red in her eyes. She remembered what the attending physician had said to her earlier. Miss Luo, your mother's condition is very bad. She just had a seizure half a month ago and it wasn't long before she fell ill again. Although she was very lucky to be rescued this time, if there is another one, I'm afraid. Also, Miss Luo, according to your mother's current physical condition, even if she is not stimulated, she only has a lifespan of 6 months. The only chance is to undergo a heart transplant surgery within this 6 months. However, it is difficult to find organ donors, so you need to be mentally prepared first. Half a year. Only half a year. Luo Chenxi couldn't accept such a result. When Lu Wenjun came for a physical examination last year, the doctors said that her condition was well controlled and she lived healthy for at least 20 years without any problems. If it weren't for Luoan Kingdom suddenly coming to recognize her, Lu Wenjun must still be fine, right? Mommy, you must get better. Otherwise, I won't have any family left, I'll be the only one left. Although she has a biological father, the country of Luoan only uses her as a tool for exploitation. Although she has a nominal husband, Mui Chen is not her relative either. From all the signs this morning, Mui Chen even harbors a deep hatred towards her sister Luo Chen. As a substitute for Luo Chenxi, the Mu family is no different from a dragon's nest or a tiger's den to her. She really only has one relative, Lu Wenjun. Mom, don't worry, I will definitely find a way to save you. Dr. Lin has already said that in your situation, the probability of surviving for more than 20 years after a heart transplant is very high. As long as you find a suitable donor, you can definitely be cured. Luo Chenxi forced her tears back, and a hint of determination flashed in her eyes. Miss Luo. Upon hearing someone call her, Luo Chenxi turned around and found that it was Lin Sheng, the attending physician of Lu Wenjun. Although Lin Sheng is young, he has already returned from studying abroad for 2 years. His medical skills are superb and his demeanor is elegant, making him a living symbol of Iha Hospital. Luo Chenxi quickly wiped away her tears and walked over. Dr. Lin, is there anything else? Lin Sheng looked at the remaining tear marks on Luo Chenxi's face and wanted to reach out to help her wipe them off, but in the end, he only pursed his lips. Miss Luo, don't be too sad. The important thing now is to pick yourself up and do your best to find a suitable donor for Ms. Lu. I have friends in many international medical institutions and will also keep an eye out for you. Luo Chenxi was extremely grateful. Thank you, Dr. Lin. If it weren't for you this time, I would really. Lin Sheng shook his head and interrupted her. Miss Luo, this is my duty as a doctor, there's one thing I want to remind you of. What's up? Luo Chenxi was taken aback. Lin Sheng hesitated for a moment, as if thinking about how to phrase. Well, it's just. I don't know what relatives you have in your family. There is a conflict with Ms. Lu, and I hope to avoid appearing in front of patients as much as possible in the future to prevent their emotions from being affected again. Also, in terms of medical expenses, do you have any difficulties? However, as Luo Chenxi listened, something became increasingly wrong. What's going on? Dr. Lin, did someone do something to my mom that caused her to suddenly develop symptoms? Lin Sheng sighed and said, yes, there was a woman in her 40s who had permed her brownish-red curly hair. She came to the hospital early this morning and said she wanted to see a patient, but when she arrived at the ward, she said that Ms. Lu lived in such a good room and used such good equipment, which was too expensive. She said the hospital deliberately cheated money. You know, Ms. Lu's situation, these devices are all necessary, and missing any of them would be life-threatening. Later, she even had an argument with Ms. Lu. Upon hearing this, Luo Chenxi had completely understood and her face turned pale. Yuan, Lai, Ru, this. Dr. Lin, thank you for telling me these things. I'm leaving today. Could you please help me pay more attention to my mother's condition? Wait, Miss Luo, where are you going? Find someone to settle the accounts. 10, Chapter 10. People like you owe smoking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Chenxi took a taxi and hurried to the Luo family villa. Miss Eyre, how did you come back? Luo Chenxi pushed away the butler and said, where's Humenya? Let her out. Ah. Are you looking for a wife? But. Luo Chenxi didn't listen to him at all and rushed straight upstairs. Suddenly, a door on the second floor opened, and a middle-aged woman in gorgeous attire strode out of the door, pointing at Luo Chenxi's nose and cursing. Luo Chenxi, you uneducated thing, truly raised in an orphanage, you don't understand any rules. Who allowed you to shout and scream in the Luo family? When Luo Chenxi saw her, her face instantly turned cold. Hu Menya is the second wife of Luan Kingdom, and she is still the third in command. Back then, Su Lirong, the birth mother of Luo Chenxi, was so angry that she gave birth prematurely and almost died 2 lives because she learned about the existence of Hu Menya and Luo Chenxi. As a result, Luo Chenxi was saved, but Su Lirong herself passed away, not even able to glance at her newborn daughter 1 month after Su Lirong's death. Luo and Guo married Hu Menya and entered the country. And the oil bottle left by Luo Chenxi's ex-wife was thrown into the orphanage. My biological mother's revenge never came in time. Unexpectedly, today Hu Menya went to the hospital again, almost infuriating Lu Wenjun. Thinking of this, Luo Chenxi was so angry that she trembled all over. Hu Menya, have you been to Iha International Hospital today, haven't you? My mother will get sick, and it's all your fault, isn't it? Hu Menya's eyes flickered with a hint of panic. Damn girl, which eye of yours saw me go? She even gave money to the hospital nurses, asking them not to speak out, right? Why did this dead girl still find out? Luo Chenxi sneered and said, don't pretend. You said you haven't been there before. If you have the ability, you can go back to the hospital with me to check the surveillance footage. Seeing that she couldn't hide it anymore, Hu Menya simply stopped pretending and snorted coldly, so what if I've been there? I saw that woman pitifully and went to visit her on behalf of the Luo family. I was kind-hearted, but you came and yelled at me. What an ungrateful person. Luo Chenxi saw her at this moment, still reversing black and white, and gritted her teeth in anger. A heart full of kindness. Are you deliberately stimulating my mother to make her fall ill again? Is this kindness? Are you asking the hospital to remove the medical equipment from my mother's body? You clearly want to kill her. Oh, look at what you're saying. What does it mean to kill her? Isn't that woman suffering from a heart disease? She needs to spend so much money. She's still in the intensive care unit. Do you know how expensive it is to see a doctor now? Although the Luo family has a company, it's been difficult to do business in the past 2 years due to the economic downturn, and you're not ignorant. You don't even want to save money for the family and still spend it recklessly every day. Look at me, I haven't bought a new bag for half a year. If I save this money. Pop. A crisp sound. Upon hearing Hu Menya compare Lu Wenjun's treatment expenses to the money she spent on buying a bag, Luo Chenxi couldn't help but slap her in the face. You dare to hit me. Hu Menya covered her face with an incredulous expression. Luo Chenxi acted impulsively, but when she did hit, she felt relieved. Hu Menya, this top-notch product, should have been beaten long ago. She regretted not smoking her earlier. Luo Chenxi said coldly, how dare I? You're just a coward. As she spoke, she raised her hand and slapped Hu Menya 4 more times.